Namaste students. Today I am going to discuss with you past perfect tense. So without wasting time, let's start. What's the structure formula for past perfect tense? Is subject plus had plus V3 plus object. In the previous tenses, I have discussed with you how to frame the sentences according to the subject. If subject is singular, then you have to use this, and if the subject is plural, then you have to use this. But one advantage in this tense for you is that whether the subject is singular or whether the subject is plural, you just have to use one helping verb, that is had, and third form of the verb. So subject plus had plus V3 plus object, whether the subject is with all the subject, he, she, it, I, we, you, they, plus any singular and plural subject. If I say they had won the match, this is affirmative sentence. This is affirmative sentence, and this they is subject, had is helping verb, won is main verb, and the match is object. So what's the structure formula? Subject plus had plus V3 plus object. This is the subject, this is had is helping verb in the tense. The second is won is the third form of win, W-I-N, win, won is the second form, won is the third form. So this is V3. MV means main verb, the match is the object. If I say I jumped into, not I jumped, I had jumped into the river. This is also affirmative. I is the subject, had is the main verb, jumped. So this is the third form of the verb, and into the river is the object. And how to make the interrogate negative sentences? I had not jumped into the river. This is negative sentence. This is negative. I had not jumped into the river. And interrogative, had I jumped into the river? Question mark. Had I jumped into the river? Question mark. I have told you while discussing the previous tenses with you that when a sentence become interrogative, when helping verb comes before the subject, sentence become interrogative. Had is the helping verb, I is the subject. So helping verb is coming before the subject. That's why there is a sign of a interrogation at the end of the sentence. And this is interrogative sentence. This is interrogative sentence. So negative interrogative, how will we frame? Had plus I not jumped into the river. And this is negative interrogative. This is negative interrogative sentence. Negative interrogative, at the end question mark is there. Negative interrogative means there should be negation and interrogation into the sentence. So sentence become negative and interrogative. This note is showing negation in the sentence, had is showing interrogation in the sentence. So next is, I think you all have learnt properly how to frame negative, interrogative and negative interrogative sentences, but the main thing which I want to discuss with you is the uses of tenses, because if you don't know how to use the tenses, so to learn the tenses is useless for you if you don't know where to use, why to use and how to use the tenses in the sentences. So this is useless to learn. So the thing which I want to make you understand properly, that is the uses of tenses. The first use of tenses is to express an action. The first use of past perfect tense is to express an action, to express an action completed before a certain time, to express an action completed before a certain time, before a certain time in the past. To express an action completed before a certain time in the past. Certain means एक निश्चित समय पर अगर कोई काम पास्ट के अंदर कंप्लीट हुआ है तो उसके लिए हम किसका यूज करते हैं? पास्ट परफेक्ट टेंस का यूज करते हैं. At 6 a.m. at 6 a.m. Radha had left for the station. Radha had left for the station. At 6 a.m. particular time is given, and 6 a.m. Radha had left for the had left indicating past perfect tense, means to express an action completed before a certain time in past. Means certain time 6 a.m. is a certain exact time दिया है. Exact time is given 6 a.m. and at that time Radha had left for the station. So to express an action completed before a certain time, this is the certain time. And if I say Martina had played her first international match at the age of 14. Martina had played her first international match at the age of 14. Certain time is given at the age of 14 when Martina had played showing the use of past perfect tense in the sentence. At the age of 14 is showing a certain time in the past when she had played her first international match at the age of 14. Certain time is given in the first sentence, 6 a.m. certain time is given, and the use of past perfect tense is correct in this type of sentences. I think you got it. Now the next use is to express past action which had been completed. To express past action, which had been completed before another past action, before another past action which has been completed before another past action. Means to express past action which has been completed, the action was completed but before another past action. We had checked, if I say we had checked all the rooms before. Listen, look at the sentence. We had checked. Had checked is showing, means had checked is showing past perfect tense, had plus third form of the verb, and before we went out to search for the fisher. before we went out for the search of fisher. Fisher means मछुआरा. So we had checked all the rooms, means they have completed one action, that they have searched all the rooms, checked all the rooms before we went out for the search of the fisher. Two action are there. One past action has completed, means मछुआरे की तलाश में जाने से पहले उन्होंने सब रूम्स जो थे उनको क्या कर लिया था, चेक कर लिया था. सो टू एक्सप्रेस पास्ट एक्शन विच हैड बीन कंप्लीटेड बिफोर अनदर पास्ट एक्शन, वन पास्ट एक्शन इज देयर एंड अनदर पास्ट एक्शन इज also there. So to expression past action which had been completed before another past action. And next example I will give of the same rule, that let me erase it first. So the next example is that I had already done the task. I had already done the task. I had already done the task when the teacher announced a surprise checking. Announced a surprise checking. Surprised checking means had already done, showing past perfect tense, and one action is completed before the another action in the past, means he had already finished, he checked the task which was given to him or her by the teacher, and when the teacher announced the surprise checking, both the actions are in past. So to show or to express past action that had been completed before another past action, two past actions are there, both are completed in past, but in one we are using past perfect tense. I think you got it. Now come to the use of next, to express unfulfilled desire. Unfulfilled desire in past. I think you all know what unfulfilled desire means. Unfulfilled desire means आपकी कोई भी ऐसी इच्छा जो पूरी नहीं हुई हो उसको unfulfilled desire बोला जाता है. So to express unfulfilled desire in past, we will learn this new rule, new use of past perfect tense to express unfulfilled desire in past. Unfulfilled, I have already told you that unfulfilled means your wish which has not been completed in past. ऐसी कोई इच्छा जो आपकी कभी पूरी नहीं हुई हो. Suppose if I say I wish I had walked a little harder before exams. Means he means to say that I wish I had worked. Had worked is the use of past perfect tense. A little harder before. Sometime when you got less marks in the exam, you always think काश मैंने exam से पहले मेहनत करी होती. So in this type of sentences, in this type of wishes, आपने मेहनत तो नहीं करी इसीलिए आपके marks कम आए हैं. But to express this type of feelings, you always use past simple tense. If I say if only he had valued the love of elders, but he did not. He did not value. I did not work hard. I did not work hard. So if only he had valued the love of elders, अगर उसने बड़े अपने बुजुर्गों के प्यार को कुछ इंपॉर्टेंस दी होती, उसकी वैल्यू की होती, तो मे बी ही विल बी सक्सेसफुल इन लाइफ, बट ही डिडंट value the love. Same is the case. So he had is the use of past perfect tense, subject plus V3, had plus V3. And so unfulfilled desires means the wishes which has not been completed. So little work harder, you have worked a little harder before the exam, but you have not worked hard. And if he had valued the love of elders, but उसने कभी अपने से बड़ों के प्यार को कभी इंपॉर्टेंस दी ही नहीं. So these are your unfulfilled desires and you are thinking about them when the time has gone out of your reach. So come to the next use, to express impossible, that is not possible, unfulfilled condition in the past. To express unfulfilled, or we can say impossible conditions in past. Impossible conditions in past. To express unfulfilled or impossible conditions in the past. If you had run faster, you would have won the race, but you didn't. If you had run faster, you would have won the race. After participating in an event of a race which you lost, you are discussing it with your friend. This is a situation of past, and that is impossible situation because you have not won the race. So to express this type of sentences, express this type of feelings, you always use past perfect tense. Past perfect, you had run is the use of past perfect tense, but you have not won the race. You are discussing it with someone and the condition is unfulfilled and condition is impossible because the race has already been organized in past and now you lost it. You just can think about it, but you cannot won it. That's why the situation is impossible. If he had written neatly, if he had written neatly, if we had written here, this is, we also call them conditional sentences. When you will see the videos on conditionals by your teachers, so each and everything will be clear to you. By past perfect tense, he would have got better marks. Neatly, he would have got better marks. He would have got better marks. If he had written neatly. When your result will be announced, suppose after the exam your result will be announced and you know that your handwriting was not up to the mark and you are discussing it with your friend and explaining the situation. If I had written very neatly, I would have got better marks. But the situation is impossible because you have not written neatly in your exam. So come to, this is the last use of past perfect tense. Now I want to discuss with you something about past simple tense, how to differentiate between past simple and past perfect tense, because this is also necessary to discuss in this video and it will help you to differentiate where to use past simple tense and where to use past perfect tense. So first of all, past simple tense. I will discuss past simple tense is used to narrate past events in order they take place. Past simple tense is used to narrate the incidents or events in order they take place, like past simple Past simple tense is used to narrate events in order they take place. In order they take place. But past perfect tense is used, however the order of the event is not followed in the narrative. The past perfect tense is used to indicate the earlier event. Past perfect tense is used when the events are not given in order. When they are not in proper order, then you will use past perfect tense. If they are in order, then you will use past simple tense. If they are not in proper narrative event, or you can say events are not followed in narrative. So first of all I will give the example of this, then I will give the example of this, then the things will be clear to you that where to use past simple tense and where to use past perfect tense and how to differentiate between the two. I finished the paper. I finished the paper and handed it over. Listen, I finished the paper. So this is the first use, and I finished the paper and handed it over to the examiner, This is the second use. The one after another. I finish the paper. First of all, you will finish the paper. After that, obviously, you will hand it over to the examiner. And I returned home. Means to express the events in the order which they are given. First of all, you have finished your exam. Then you handed over your exam to the examiner. Then you returned home. And then I went to stadium for the practice. If I say, then I went to the stadium for practice. Listen, all the events are given in an order. First of all, you have finished your exam, and after that you have handed it over to the examiner. You returned home. After that you went to the practice, second form of the verb. So past simple tense is used for the events in the order they are given, but past perfect tense is used for the events which are not given in order and narrative is not followed it properly. If I same example I can use, but before returning home I had already handed over the paper to the examiner. Before returning home I had already handed over the exam to the examiner. Before returning home, I had already handed over the exam to the examiner. I had taken my bicycle before returning home. If I say I had taken my bicycle before before returning home. Before returning home. Before returning home. So I had taken my bicycle before returning home. Listen to me. These incidents are not following a proper order. These events are not following a proper order before returning home. I had already handed over the, first of all you should say that I had handed over the exam to the examiner before returning home, and you can say I had handed over the exam to the examiner and I returned home. But proper events are not in a proper order and a proper narrative is not followed. So I had taken the bicycle before returning home. I had taken my bicycle before returning home. So the things are not given in order, that's why we will use past perfect tense. But if the things are in this, all the events are in proper order, finished the paper, handed it over to the examiner and I returned home. And in the second, what he said, before returning home, I had already handed over the, obviously you cannot bring your exam at your home. So this sentence is not in proper order, that's why past perfect tense is followed it. And the last use is the last difference between the past simple or simple past and past perfect tenses. I am going to discuss with you the last use. The past tense describes an action. Past perfect tense describe an action completed before some special past moment. Past perfect tense, I will write it on the board. The past perfect tense, the past perfect tense describe, the past perfect tense describe the special, describe an action completed, an action completed before some special moment, before some special moment in past, before some special moment is in past, by the time storm begins, by the time storm begin David, by the time storm begin, means some special moment. Why this moment is special? David had found a safe place in the forest, So this is the last use I am going to explain, and this is the last difference. So by the time the storm begin, means why this time is special? Because he was at a crucial moment, because he was stuck in a storm, and by the time storm begin, he had found a safe place in the forest. So this is a special moment and action completed before some special moment in past, means तूफान के शुरू होने से पहले ही आपने क्या कर लिया, आप एक सेफ प्लेस पर चले गए. सो एन एक्शन कंप्लीटेड बिफोर सम स्पेशल मोमेंट. व्हाट्स द स्पेशल मोमेंट? क्रूशियल मोमेंट, फुल ऑफ क्राइसिस, दैट इज द स्टॉर्म बिगिन. So before the starting of the storm, you have reached at a safest place. So thank you, stay safe, have a nice day.